Hello, everybody. It is I, Amo. We are back once again. Once again. Uh, yeah, It's another time for me to play Draft League on Wi-Fi and record the uh, the the draft analysis. You can. It's not even been that long since the last day. It was BBL. It finished not even that long ago. But yeah, we are back, and I'm not the only one who is back. The BBR is too for, I believe, the ninth season, if I say the number correctly. If not, then it's okay. Anyway, but I think you guys know how these videos works. I just go over every Pokemon that I went. It's not like there's an explanation or anything, but you know how it works. I always also take a lot of time on these when they're usually very short, so I'll try to make things a little bit faster. So, alright, let's not wait further ado. You guys can see the first pick that I had. I guess what I could say is that, well, what was the position in draft like? Yeah, I guess because we're not here to claim the title. This time we're here to defend it because we won the previous season of BBR. That's right. And our privilege was that we had like a better chances on the wheel to be in the later pick, aka in the first people to pick. I did not get this good fate. I think I finished like 10th or 12th or something. I know I did not get that good of a place, but that's okay. So, as you can see, because I didn't put something over it to start it off, that my first pick ended up being Chiyu or Christopher Youssef or whoever big content creator calls it, but it's Chiyu. A Pokemon that, despite being, banned from OU since the beginning of Gen 9, hasn't been the most dominant Gen 9 threat in draft. The best I was able to see out of it was always a one kill quota Pokemon, which of course is good to have a Pokemon that is more than likely to get at least one kill per game. But it's banned from Oyo. It's supposed to be very strong. It's like alright in draft. Of course, I never got to use GU before, so I decided that I will use it this time. But not just your run of the mill GU, because if you could see on the little icon on the bottom left, if you can see actually, and if not, then let me just tell you that this is in fact the Terra Captain Chiyu. Yeah, the Terra rules are similar for what has been the case recently. That my Chiyu can now Terrasize into any type that it wants per game, but I need to tell my Terra type is before the match even begun. So, I mean, I guess for people the most obvious would be like, Terrafire because of your like meme of putting a calc of choice based Chiyu into some Terrafire, like your argument is invalid or something. But I want to like explore every possibilities with Chiyu that I could this season. So yeah, we'll see if I'll be able to really make Chiyu work, or will it have a curse of not doing that great anyway, despite being a Terra captain. But yeah, so with Chiyu being my first pick, it reminded me of my first pick in the previous season with Darkrai, which was a special attacking Dark type with Dark Pulse. Because something I really realized this gen, Dark types are good, like really good. Especially those that can use stam knockoff. So when I had Darkrai last season, I was missing out on a little something. And considering that I have Chiyu right now, and it's Terra Chiyu, I wanted to have a quote-unquote real Dark type. I mean, Chiyu is of course a real Dark type for now. I mean, as a type. But I mean, a Dark type that I use knockoff. So I pick Roaring Moon. Another Pokemon that doesn't seem like that broken in draft, but for me, that's a different story. I like Roaring Moon. I think it is very, very strong. And yeah, that's basically the main reason I adopted it. It's a strong knockoff user. It has a great speed tier, very very fast. I guess the one thing that people dislike about moves that it doesn't seem to do that much damage despite having a high attack, but that's because its move are not like very high base power. Like of course you have knockoff, which is the best move that it has. Otherwise, it's like earthquake or like itemless acro, not itemless, but booster energy acro. But beside that, I like roaring moon. I'm I hope just like you, I'll be able to show that it is in fact very very good. That is good. Okay. All right. So remember when I had Gengar in BBL? I did a joke of like, oh, I wanted a ghost most poison type. If only I could get something for both. Like trying to lean into Pecharunt, but then it was actually Gengar. But then when playing in BBL, I kind of tried of making Gengar a Pecharunt impression. So I think in the end I should have drafted Pecharunt all along. Like I fight versus Chuckle with like a own taste of curse that I also used it in BBR last season. Yeah, I don't want to fight Pecharunt again. This is the very last Pokemon added in Gen 9, but this is by far my best performing one in all of the Gen. So basically, if I want to win, I'm gonna use what's best for me, and Pecharunt is my best Pokemon, so I'm gonna use Pecharunt. That's pretty self explanatory. But aside that, it gives a fairy resistance, a very high defense Pokemon. It, and yeah, it's Pachiriman. We all know what it does. We all know it's very, very solid. Alright, next. I then went with Tinkaton. Remember when I said that knockoff is good? Well, I decided to get Tinkaton because it's very good against knockoff. Fairy type because it resists it, and also because of pickpocket. Like if you remove Tinkaton's item, then okay, I steal your item. Then it's as if you use knockoff on yourself. I guess it's also a Pokemon that kinda is not that. Of course, I don't say that Tinkaton is dominant or anything, but it has a move with 160 base power, but it's not that strong because Tinkaton is as base 75 attack. But its support move pool is still great. Like Stealth Rock, Downward Wave, Encore. It's a good utility Pokemon. So I'm drafting it because again for what I just said about knockoff, it's good at absorbing knockoff. Like from our team, like I don't want to use my item on Chiyu. I guess Roaring Moon is fine because if I go for boost energy, and Pecharunt, even though it's a ghost type, it doesn't feel like weak to knock off most of the time, but I might as well just get Tinkaton. Next, I go with a Manaphy. Not for any reason particular. I know it's just a good Pokemon to round out the team. A water type that is solid all around. It can be what you want. It could be a utility pivot, or it can be just set up with Tail Glue or Take Heart. I don't have to worry about Take Heart being banned or anything like that. It has good coverage for a water type, like, not just your standard water move with Ice Beam, but Energy Ball, Psychic, Outline Voice. Can also try some set with Acid Armor. I mean, it's a good Pokemon. We all know what Manaphy is good. Yeah, I think it does well here. Next, a little bit of a surprise as this is my second Terra Captain of the draft, Porygon 2. So, like, unlike in BBL where we had only one singular Terra Captain, which also I forgot to mention that when you do select a Pokemon to Terra, its price points gets higher. The reason why we are able to get more than one Terra Captain is because you have a second separate budget that uses the same price as the regular budget when you decide to make your Pokemon Terra, but it's its own budget. It's 28 points total. TU move from 16 to 18 with Terra, and P2 move from 6 to 8. So it's basically I have 18 plus 8. That's 26 point use of my 28. So if I want to, I could get a third Terra Captain, but that would be something very low tier, like very very low tier, like bottom. Which I'm gonna say now, it's not the case. I only have two Terra Captains. in Chiyu and Porygon 2, because if I go to select something in the lower tier, I mean, at that point, I already have two great Pokemon with Terra. I don't need a third one that will be mostly obsolete outside of Terra, so I didn't bother. But yeah, Porygon 2 is very tanky. It lost its like its turbo from last gen, which sucks a little bit, but I thought it could be great here because both it and Chiyu are Pokemon that gets better with Terra, yes, but can also work without it. Like Chiyu is still very strong on its own, with a good typing nonetheless, and again, P2 is very bulky and lacks a lot of weaknesses. And I think it's a good thing they also went with it because I also have to think a ton, like I said previously, about the knockoff dilemma. I mean knockoff problem, where like, Think can just absorb them so P2 won't have to worry as much about knockoff. Plus, it's paired with other Pokemon that can do damage or pivot out. Yeah, I really want to see what I can do with the Terra Porygon 2 because that's one of the Pokemon I wanted to try with Terra. So glad I got it. 7 months? I was trying to think between Cresselia and Deoxys Defense. Like, they both offered some really good stuff. I went with Cresselia in the end because the main one being, of course, Lunar Dance, because Lunar Dance is, I mean, it and Healing Wish are a very, very powerful move. I would say I could see reason of Lunar Dance being inferior to Healing Wish because Lunar Dance also restore PP, which could be a good thing if you use a Pokemon that runs slow on PP moves, but can also be bad because if you try like to pass the Healing Wish to a Pokemon, but you have to go into something else first, but that something else is at full HP, you also not status, you won't get the Healing Wish at least. But if it's Lunar Dance, and even though if that Pokemon is at full HP and not status, if that Pokemon has used even one move, it will receive the Lunar Dance. This is like, I would say, the one drawback of Cresselia, like Lunar Dance, like it could be used way more sooner than you will want to. But beside that, I still went with it because it's again very tanky, can be good at disrupt. It's just a good support, like very hard to remove and everything. It also offers a ground immunity, which was something I was very, very lacking on the team. So yeah, very annoying to remove. That's why I went for it. Simple as that. Okay, now a real ground immunity outside of Levitate. I go with Galarian Zapdos because alongside Dark type being broken with Stab knockoff, I think Fighting type are very strong as well with Stab close combat. And Zapdos is great because it's also part Flying type, and Fighting plus Flying are two powerful offensive type. It's a physical attacker. It will use Brave Bird most of the time, meaning I don't have to worry about Air Slash or Hurricane missing. Of course, it has solid speed tier. It can use knockoff itself. It has U-turn. Again, solid Pokemon. Not very simple to explain. That's it. Zapdos. Okay, that's the real quote-unquote bad mon I will have on this draft. Livani isn't the worst. Like, I mean, his typing is bad for sure, and his stats are underwhelming. But that gave me Sticky Web, and I thought that having Sticky Web could be a powerful weapon for stuff like, Chiyu and Manaphy, which at base 100 is good, but considering we were now easily hanging around the higher above of 120, I think. Of course, there's boost as well, but I have a lot of Pokemon with knockoff on my team. And by a lot, I have four of them. I have Moon. I have Tinkaton. I have Zapdos, now Livani. Plus, you have stuff like Pet Chat that could maybe force clear amulets or cover cloak potentially. And also the fact that Tinkaton also has Pickpocket. Or maybe I can do something like with Trick Cresselia. But yeah, it's mainly for Sticky Web. That could give me some, some game plan if I feel I wanted to go with Sticky Web. And then last, keeping it simple, I wanted a ground type. There were a few left on the board. I settled on the Rhyperior because it's also a partial rock type. So typing wise, it's pretty strong. I know he has those short time weaknesses, but I figure it was still fine to go with it. Plus, it's very slow, but I have P2 and Crest, so if I want to, I could always go for a Trick Room angle if I think right player would be very strong. Yeah, as long as right player doesn't get hit by water or grass move, it can take almost anything on the physical side. So yeah, that's the team. I think I was able to keep it relatively short from what I usually go for. But yeah, it's a pretty simple season. We are here because we are the champion. We are here to defend our title. Of course, we didn't do the best in BBL, so we're gonna try to redeem ourselves because we were, a league champion before entering BBL. And then when once BBL ended, I didn't make playoff. I need to redeem that. I have to defend the title that I won just a few months back. So yeah, that's the draft. And obviously, at each and every week from onward from this will be about uploads. Of course, check everyone else. I'm not the only one who plays this league, obviously. You know that. I will simply talk to you guys later when I'm gonna actually be playing. Then see you guys like that.